And welcome back on this amazing Sunday. More Politics Unplugged for you now. This November, voters in Boulder will get to decide if the city gets to keep an extra $1 million paid by its soda tax. The city originally estimated the tax would collect just shy of $4 million with the tax on sugar-sweetened drinks. Well, it turns out that number is now expected to be upwards of $5 million. State law requires the money be refunded, but Boulder leaders want to give voters the chance to decide if the city should keep it instead and put it towards health programs. That measure will be on the ballot this November. Let's transition now to an issue that could be on Denver's ballot next spring. Denver City Councilman Albus Brooks joining us this weekend. Councilmember Brooks, long known as an advocate for the city's homeless and affordable housing. Now, this proposal headed to the ballot next spring. Talk to us about it, the issues, and why you think it's important.
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about this issue. Many folks don't know it's called the right to survive. And this initiative would essentially expel ordinances of the camping ordinance. It would expel ordinance of the curfew, the park curfew, so you could camp in parks. And it would also take up our major encumbrance ordinance, which allows folks not to be able to be in the public right-of-way. The advocates of this bill would say that they want to see homeless be able to sleep and be wherever they want to be. And they say
controversial, right?
Very controversial. And they say they're leading with compassion. I don't think this is compassion at all. I think we need to stay focused on delivering affordable housing. We need to stay focused on delivering services to homeless individuals and not work on a bill to take away park curfews and saturate our rivers and saturate our public right-of-way. We need to get people in housing.
Well, this is an issue that many people talk about, and everybody seems to have an opinion on it. You know, we go places throughout the country, and people go, "You're living in Denver," and what's the first reaction? Wow, what a great place to live.
Yes.
And you talk about balancing compassion, because obviously it's an issue not only in Denver, but every city in the country.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that as an elected leader, as somebody that's looked at in our community as somebody that cares about the homeless, but yet I'm sure you don't want to ruin Denver's reputation.
That's right. Well, all you have to do, this is not unique to the city of Denver. It's actually all over America, especially in western cities. Portland, LA, Seattle, San Francisco are all struggling with this issue. And LA is the worst. On Skid Row, they have essentially passed a similar measure, and now their area is 10 by 5 blocks full of 5,000 homeless individuals that they are not getting into housing because there are certain laws restricting laying and sleeping in public places.
Where do you think right now the voters of Denver sit on this critical issue? And the hurdles, the questions, and the comments. That obviously, this is going to be talked about a lot when we get to next May.
That's right. That's right. I think Denver's a compassionate city. I mean, we're very progressive, but at the same time, we're very smart, and we want to think about what is the best ways to help people experiencing homelessness transition into life and be a part of this incredible economy. And the best way to do that is services. The best way to do that is the mental health bill coming up, which I'm going to be supporting, making sure we're doing wraparound services to these individuals and giving them care, not just saying, hey, sleep wherever you want to. No, we care about you in this city, and we want you to thrive.
This issue coming up in May could likely come up at a time when Mayor Hancock is seeking a new term. Do you see this as a critical issue in that mayoral election if some credible candidates step forward to challenge Mayor Hancock?
Well, I just want to say, it's going to be a critical issue for all of us. I'm running for city council. City council's up, the auditor's up, the clerk is up, and the mayor's up. So this is going for all of us running. This is going to be an incredibly important issue.
What do you think ultimately will make voters decide one way or another? Because that key word, compassion, but yet we know the pride people in Colorado have for Denver and for how great this city is. What's the deciding factor, Councilmember?
When people see that this bill doesn't help people get help into housing, they're going to make a decision on it. If this bill had $50 million tied to it for transitional housing for these individuals, I think it would pass by 70%. But because this doesn't actually help people thrive in life, they're not going to support it.
Do you think it can change between now and May? Do you think the language may soften up? Is there a compromise here?
I don't know. I have not talked to the organizers about this. I would hope that they would come to the city and say, hey, how can we increase funding for housing that deals with the most vulnerable in our city?
Councilmember Brooks.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time and your insight and getting us ready for a key issue that's coming our way in a few months. Well,
thank you, Tony.
If you've got a question or a segment idea for us, tweet us at Denver7Politics. And don't forget, you can watch today's segments anytime at thedenverchannel.com/politicsunplug. I thank you for joining us. Ann Trujillo will be back in this seat next week. I'm Tony Kowaleski. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Politics Unplugged.